Hello, this is Tobias from All In On Games, and in this video I'm going to show you how to play my game Betwixt and Between. So Betwixt and Between, it's a Euro-inspired adventure game based upon European folklore, and the game is a mix between a tile-laying game where the players are shaping this world together by placing out exploration cards, inhabiting it with mythological creatures and places and magic. But you also move your little mystic around to take actions and absorb the magic for powerful spells and rites. So let's go inside and see how this plays. Okay, so let's start with the setup. Place the game board on the middle of the table. If playing with less than 4 players, use the obstacle tokens to block off the square spaces of the board. If playing with 3 players, you will be playing on a 6x6 grid, and if you're playing with 2 players, you'll use a 5x5 grid. Shuffle the cards thoroughly and place them beside the game board, including the Rite card. Create the common supply by drawing 4 spell cards, placing them face up on display beside the game board. And place all the magic gems within everyone's reach. Randomly decide upon a first player and deal out a mystic sheet to every player, together with activation tokens and mystic tokens of matching color, and a quick guide card. All players will then draw 2 spell cards each, deciding one to keep. For your first couple of games before you learn the flow and economics of the game, I strongly recommend all players to keep both spell cards and receive a magic of each element before starting the game. Okay, we're now good to go. The game is played throughout 3 rounds that each follow the same phase structure, starting with the exploration phase. The players will now each draw 5 exploration cards to their hand, or 6 if you're playing with 2 players, and perform a draft by deciding 1 card to keep and passing the other cards to the player to the left. The players repeat this until all players have chosen 4 cards to keep. The exploration cards will dictate what the players discover and possibly encounter, so let's take a look at how they work. In the top right corner here, we have the discovery bonus within a little burst symbol. You will immediately receive this bonus from the supply when you've decided to play the card. It can either be a spell card, an absorb magic card, or any of the magic elements. The magic gems in the game correlates to the magic elements of the card. Be careful to not mistake them for another. This, for instance, is a spell card, and this is a water magic element. The magic symbols outside of the frame here are magic associated with a creature or location and can only be claimed when the card is placed on the game board by having your mystic figure absorb it from an adjacent space. And finally, the white symbol of the card is the action of the creature or location that your mystic may perform when visiting the card on the game board. All the actions of the cards are listed on the quick guide card for reference, but here's a quick summary. With the move action, the player may move their mystic to an adjacent space. With a tunnel, the player may move their mystic to another tunnel. With reshape, the player may move and rotate an exploration card on the game board to an empty space up to 2 adjacent spaces away. With replenish, the player may refill depleted magic elements of an exploration card. With the exchange action, you may exchange 1 magic element to another magic element. With explore, the player may draw an explore card and discard an explore card. With destroy, the player may remove another exploration card once per round. This stop symbol is not an action, it simply hinders movement on that card. If a card symbol or a resource is depicted instead of an action symbol, you instead receive the depicted amount of that card or resource. Okay, so that's all the card actions of the game. Now we will end the first phase by performing a rite. With the 5th leftover exploration card, players will start a rite by turning the cards face down. In turn order, they will choose one of the magic elements and together complete a full moon consisting of 4 magic elements. The magic elements in the full moon will be the victory point condition for the current round. If you're playing 2-player, the players will take turns contributing 2 cards each, one at a time. In a 3-player game, the last element is randomly decided by placing one of each element in the first player's hand, who randomly draws one of them. Now we'll enter the next phase, the adventure phase. In turn order, players alternate taking turns, activating their activation tokens by flipping them face down in the order of their choice. The activation tokens have the following effects. When using the Explore token, you'll decide to play 1 exploration card, immediately receiving the depicted reward. In this case, it's actually a water element. You'll then place the card on any space on the game board that doesn't already have an exploration card in any direction and add the depicted magic element to it. The exploration token is the only mandatory option you have to do on your turn. With the move tokens, you may move your mystic 1 orthogonally adjacent space per token. Here we go. And perform the action of any exploration cards encountered. With the Absorb token, you may absorb 1 magic element from an exploration card on an adjacent space. So if we would like to absorb magic on this card, we would need to be adjacent to it with the magic facing you. So we would be able to absorb it from here, but not from here, as the magic is not directly adjacent to our mystic. So you're not able to absorb magic on the same card, and not if you're too far away. You need to have just the right distance. In addition to these tokens, the players may also use absorb cards if they have. They may draw additional magic in opposite directions, or use prepared spells for benefits and additional actions. We'll now fast forward a little bit to my 3rd turn, and I'll show you 1 full turn of the game. Okay, so we're now in the 3rd turn, and the purple player will activate his Explore token, deciding to play this Dryad, immediately receiving the depicted Discovery bonus here, which is an Absorb magic card. He then places the Exploration card on a space that doesn't already have an Exploration card, and he then places the displayed magic on the symbols here. The purple player will then activate his Absorb magic to absorb this fire magic, as he's directly adjacent to it and it's facing him. He then uses his move action here to enter the Dryad space, and he will take advantage of the action of the Dryad, which is to replenish magic to another exploration card. So he will add 2 fire magic to the basilisk. The purple player will then use his last move actions to move to the Marrows card, and he will use the action of the Marrow, in this case gain another movement, so he will move here. And finally, he's gonna use the Absorb magic card he just received earlier and absorb 2 magic from the basilisk, discarding the Absorb magic card. Now the purple player has nothing left to do, so he ends his turn by entering Spellbinding. And when entering Spellbinding, the next player may start their turn. During Spellbinding, the player flips back their activation tokens, and they may now prepare spells by creating magical patterns on their mystic board that can be activated on the player's next turn. Spells give players new abilities and victory points, and it's only during Spellbinding that a player can prepare a spell. So, in order to prepare a spell, the player must create the depicted magical pattern of the spell card on their mystic board with magic gems. And patterns may be rotated, and the empty circular spaces are not considered part of the pattern, so other magic gems can be placed there without breaking the pattern. And a magic gem can be included in an unlimited amount of patterns here, so cleverly constructing your magic weave is very much rewarded. And no magic is ever spent when preparing spells. The player only needs to keep the pattern in the magic weave in order to uphold it during spellbinding. And players are free to rearrange their weave however they want without any spells being discarded during spellbinding, but when they start their turn again, should a pattern of a spell be broken, the spell card will be discarded and they will not gain the victory points of the card. Okay, so to prepare this spell, we could place the pattern like this and use 2 fire magic and place them like that. So we now have the pattern of the card, so we may now prepare it. And when it's our turn again, we may activate it by moving it to the left side here, the activated spell, and receive this nice bonus, which is a absorb magic card. Once all players has taken 4 turns each and played all of their exploration cards, the round ends and players may claim victory points from the current round's Rite by offering their requested magic gems back to the supply in turn order. For every fulfilled request, players get to place a mystic token on the Rite card that will be worth 10 victory points. Once the Rite is over, the common supply spells will be refreshed and your activated once per round spells will be prepared again by being moved back to the right side of the mystic board. Any mystic token on exploration cards with destroy actions will also be returned back to the players. The players will then reshape the landscape by discarding 1 exploration card each from the game board in turn order. The player to the left of the current first player will then be the new first player for the upcoming round. Once all 3 rounds of the game has been played, the game ends and the player with the most victory points from spell cards, the right and leftover magic will win the game. That's how you play Betwixt and Between. Thanks for watching.